Make church fundraising a devotional affair. Following from what we are saying, and at this time of annual harvests in our churches, those who contribute money for various church projects and those who support the poor through St. Vincent de Paul and other programs should do so how? Quietly. Again, should do so quietly, without having it trumpeted before them, as Jesus says, without seeking to be recognized, without seeking to be celebrated, without seeking to be applauded. Is this so difficult to understand? There are too many people who donate money and who therefore are looking for to be made patrons of one society or the other, to be recognized as pillars of the church. My dear friends, here and elsewhere, Christians, Catholics, Christians, we must stop the celebration of vanity and vainglory in the name of fundraising. We must stop this nonsense. Stop the celebration of vanity and vainglory in the name of fundraising that has become such a nuisance. I am nauseated by all that is happening. It has become such an embarrassment. It has become such a scandal in many of our churches today. For what is it that we have that has not been given to us? Tell me. What is it that we have? We are only unworthy stewards of God's gifts. What is it that you have that has not been given to you? That now you want God to thank you. And you want the men of God to recognize you and hold your hand as the chairman of political party holds the hand of the flag bearer. We are only unworthy servants or stewards of God's gifts and resources. So we must learn to make giving in church a spiritual and devotional affair. Didn't Jesus Christ say that if you trumpet your giving to God, you have already received your reward? I don't want to have received my reward already here now. That the Father who sees what is given in secret will reward you. Don't make giving in church, brothers and sisters, Christians, don't make giving in church a matter of vile competition. To now have an umbrella to compete with Ebonyi. In a country that we are struggling to unite people, it is in the church you will now bring the plateau people, you bring their head to conflict with that of Enugu people in order to show who can supersede the other. Come on, this is vile. It's shameful. Giving in church should not be made a matter of vile competition or obscene entertainment. That we are bringing comedians, secular entertainers into the church, cultural groups into the church to entertain people so that they can donate money. When did we start this nonsense? When did we lose our way? Priests and pastors, chairmen of church councils, lay leaders, chairmen of harvest committees should take time to teach their members who have money on how to be truly generous to God. In fact, all that is happening is a reflection of how poorly we have taught our people to be generous. If our people are asking for recognition and to be applauded before they give, it's either that they don't have or we have not taught them what Christian generosity is. We need to teach our people how to conduct their fundraising activities in a manner that is faithful to Jesus Christ's teaching in Matthew chapter 6 verse 1 to 4, where it says, do not have your charity, your almsgiving trumpeted before you. You have already received your reward. Are we not reading the Bible? We must conduct our fundraising in a manner that is consistent with the sanctity and the dignity and the integrity and the solemnity of Christian worship. Everything we do in every church, and particularly in the Catholic Church where we have the Blessed Sacrament reserved, everything we do should be what? Solemn. With dignity, with integrity, with solemnity. This is the way to go to teach people to be generous. rather than resort to cajoling, blackmailing, coercing, manipulating, or employ such crude, shoddy tactics or such scandalous gimmicks that violate the very integrity of Catholic liturgy. Do we do any such nonsense here? No. God forbid. And I have never entertained them in every church that I have been in 41 years. I've never entertained them. And I will not entertain them. And I will shout and scream at those who are entertaining them that this is wrong. This is wrong. This is unacceptable. After 41 years in the priesthood, I should know what is wrong and what is right in our church practice. These shameful practices in some of our churches have become such a nuisance that we are now chasing away genuine Christians. We are now chasing away genuine Christians who simply want to worship God in sanctity and solemnity and who do not want to witness a bazaar every Sunday. How can we be having a bazaar every Sunday? Bazaar used to be one Sunday a year. But by the time we are launching programs and launching chairman and launching whatever and launching Apple, then we are doing bazaar every Sunday. Furthermore, please take note. Furthermore, priests and pastors must recognize that many of those who come to worship God are only struggling to exist in the difficult economic circumstances of today. Many of those who come to worship God are only eking a miserable living, only struggling to exist in our dire economic circumstances. So, this is a most inauspicious time to harass and cajole and manipulate people for money. What this may require is a rationalization of our projects. So we delay some projects because things are hard in the country. This is not an auspicious time. Of course, we must tell people to support the church, and that there are people who refuse to support the church even though they have. But we must also recognize that perhaps the majority of people in our churches do not have. The majority of people in our churches are struggling. So this is not the time for so much of the cajoling and manipulating. This is the wrong time to do that. I pray earnestly today that church leaders in Nigeria will recognize this as a matter requiring urgent attention. Amen. Amen. May church leaders in Nigeria put in place appropriate mechanisms to regulate the conduct of fundraising and especially the conduct of harvest in our churches. Amen. Amen.